most excited about the growth in accessibility to these spaces. So a lot of times we talk about games as if everyone has equal access. Not even everybody has the internet. I think games are just going to become ever more central to our day-to-day lives, especially with emerging markets, India, Turkey, Pakistan.
Because our channel is also about where the future is going in terms of science and technology, and gaming being such a huge industry. I wanted to, just ask a few questions around that. So how do you see the role of gaming and digital media evolving in the future now that we have so much more new capabilities? AI, AR, VR, just too many to name here. How do you see this field?
I think games are just going to become ever more central to our day-to-day lives, especially with emerging markets, India, Turkey, Pakistan. There's a collection of countries that over the next 5 years, their industry and their countries are growing exponentially, 15, 20%. And I think we're just going to start to have these more global discussions about the role that games play in socializing and in this future of the metaverse, digital spaces where we engage in day-to-day activities beyond just play.
What advice would you give to students or really early career professionals who are listening to you today and saying, this is really interesting, I love gaming, and I think I might have a future, I'm interested in pursuing this? How would somebody go about getting into this field?
I think the best advice I can give in like a soundbite is that there's no straight linear path and that there's a little bit something for everyone. I feel like a lot of times people think about, I want to work in games, I must be an engineer, or I must be an artist. And those are certainly fields you can do. But there are psychologists that work in games. There are audio engineers that work in games. And nearly everyone I've met who works in games did not start there. I wanted to be a therapist. I started in academia. I know many people who had full careers in totally different fields before they pivoted into games. So just think about where your interests and expertise are, and there's probably a spot for you in the industry.
And what advice do you give to somebody who's interested in a research-based career like you are? How would they get started in that?
Don't take out student loans for your PhD. Find a fully funded PhD would be my best advice. They exist. They're advertised yearly. Look for those. And then research what, your area of interest is in. Again, there are game studies. There's hundreds of programs now that specialize specifically in game studies. And it could be the social impact of games. It could be mental health. It could be the representation of disability in games. I have a colleague who did that. It could be role playing and, identity formation. There's so many ways and so many things you could look into across fields, psychology, media studies, computer science. So again, there's a little something for everyone, but I would say find a funded PhD because they're very, very expensive. And I'm not sure I could ever, with a good heart, advise you go into hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt to pursue a research.
Wow, that is probably the most important advice.
Right?
It comes from true wisdom and having gone through it.
Experience. It comes from experience not having a funded PhD, let me tell you. And now I realize they're everywhere and mistakes were made.
Do you see new sorts of jobs coming up, like in terms of, I would have never thought that's even a job?
Every day. I'm surprised at the jobs that exist, and also there's so many specializations. I was just having a call with a colleague today whose job in their studio is combat design. And so you think about, I have to be an engineer and I want to design games. Like there are so many, there's interface design, there's environmental design, then there's environmental sound, there's environmental art, and then there's so many things that you can do. It's way more than you think it is, I think, on the surface. And when you fall into the rabbit hole, you'll realize that there's something for everyone and plenty of jobs that I don't even know exist. Actually, I can't remember what it's called. I talked to someone today and they told me their job title and I had to be like, what is that? I actually don't know. I tried Googling it. It gave me nothing. And it made sense when they explained it to me. But see, that perfect example, just today, new job.
So there's opportunities. Go out and seek it. There's no limits. Thank you so much, Rachel. This was fun. I learned so much.
Bye.
See ya.